I'm 95 years old, and I'm about to tell you something that nobody, not your parents, not your therapist, not your self-help books will ever tell you. And the reason they won't is because it is too painful, too stark, too real. And at 95 years old, I have buried 3 husbands, 2 children, most of my friends, and nearly every single person I once laughed with before I turned 40. I have watched the world change its clothes again and again, wars begin and end, technology rise like a miracle, and then become ordinary. And through all these years, I have learned one truth that sits with me in the quiet of the night. We are all living like we have forever, when in truth we barely have anything at all. And I did not learn this lesson at 90 or at 80. But at 33 years old, though it took me more than 60 long, stubborn years to truly understand what that moment was trying to teach my restless heart. It was October 14th, 1955, a Friday, and I remember because I had curled my hair and planned to go dancing that weekend with my husband Michael. We had been married 8 years and had 2 little boys, Daniel and Samuel, and Michael worked at the steel mill, a steady man with rough hands and gentle eyes, the kind who would kiss my forehead each morning and say, "See you tonight, Margaret." Except that Friday, he did not come home. There was an accident at the mill. They said it was quick and that he did not suffer, but people always say that to make the living feel better. What they never say is that when someone dies suddenly, they take all your unsaid words with them. Every "I love you" you assume they already knew, every apology you rehearsed but never delivered, every evening you chose distraction over connection, and that night at my kitchen table at 33 years old, with 2 sleeping boys down the hall, I made a promise through tears that I would never waste another day. I promised I would live intentionally and love openly and never postpone joy again. And oh child, I broke that promise almost immediately. I hugged Daniel and Samuel tighter and I whispered, "I love you" more often. But then the bills came and the laundry piled and exhaustion wrapped around me like fog. I remarried in 1958 to Thomas, a patient man who brought steadiness back into our home. We shared decades together before his heart finally gave out, and my regret is not the arguments or the seasons of little money or the disagreements about small things. My regret is the ordinary Tuesday nights I chose folding clothes over sitting beside him, the times I said, "Not now, I am busy," when he asked for a simple walk under an ordinary sky. The evenings I listened with half an ear while planning tomorrow. Because at 95 years old, I can tell you that you do not just lose the people you love once. You lose them again and again in memory, when you replay the moments you were only half present. My son, Samuel, died in 1987 at 45 years old from cancer while I was 65 and sitting beside his hospital bed holding a hand that once held mine. And he said, "Mom, I am sorry I did not call more." And I swallowed my scream and lied and told him we had enough time when we did not. And even after all the funerals and all the lessons carved into my bones, when my 3rd husband, Edward, passed 2 years ago at 98 years old, after 21 years together, I still sometimes glanced at my phone while he spoke, and sometimes sighed when he repeated a story for the 10th time, and sometimes thought I will listen better tomorrow. And there was not always a tomorrow. And you who are young think this sounds heavy and say, everyone dies eventually. But that is not the point. The point is, you believe you are the exception and that later will wait patiently for you. But at 95 years old, I tell you with a voice that has trembled through nearly a century that later never comes. You think you will travel when you retire, but your body may not cooperate. You think you will reconnect with your sister after this busy season, but busy seasons quietly become decades. You think you will write the book or learn the language or take the trip or start the business or have the honest conversation when there is more time and more money and more confidence. But the cruel truth is, you already have time and you spend it carelessly on things that will not matter 5 years from now. And if you are blessed enough to reach 95 like me, you will look back not at your titles or your possessions, but at your absences. I am not telling you to abandon responsibility or run away from your duties. I am telling you something much harder. Pay attention today to how you are spending your irreplaceable hours. If your grandmother is alive, call her today, because I am a grandmother, and I know she sits quietly with old photographs, pretending she understands why the phone does not ring, while her heart breaks softly in places she does not show. If your parents are alive, sit with them, because when they are gone, you will not care about who was right in an argument, but about the laughter you postponed and the hugs you cut short. I have one son left, Daniel, who is 76, and he visits every Sunday, rain or shine, and he is a devoted son, yet every Sunday as he walks slowly to his car, I stand at my window and wonder if that was our last goodbye, because at 95, every farewell carries mathematics, not drama. And I have a great-great-granddaughter named Lily, who is 16, and she once sat beside me, glowing in the light of her phone, believing I would always be here. And one day, she will remember that visit, and it will ache in a way she cannot imagine yet. And that is the ache I want to save you from, not the ache of grand failures, but the ache of quiet neglect, of being physically present but mentally miles away. Because when your life begins to close, it is not the grand milestones that replay in your mind, but the small, unnoticed moments. The Tuesday afternoon you chose patience over irritation while your father fixed the sink. The slow Saturday morning you made pancakes and no one rushed away. The evening walk where you listened instead of waiting for your turn to speak. Those plain, unremarkable, sacred moments are the true substance of a life, and they are available to you right now if you choose them. But you must fight for them against distraction and ambition and fear and the endless whisper that you have time. And if I could step back into that kitchen in 1955 and stand beside 33-year-old Margaret after Michael died, I would gently tell her, you will forget this lesson again and again because you are human, but your sacred task is to remember and return. Remember and return to presence, return to attention, return to love, not perfectly but persistently, because at 95 years old, after more than 34,000 sunrises and sunsets, I can count on two frail hands the days I was fully awake inside my own beautiful ordinary life. And that is my deepest regret, so do not wait decades as I did. Do not wait until the chairs around your table are empty and the house is too quiet. Stop rating this and call someone you love. Stop rating this and sit beside someone without your phone. Stop rating this and truly look at the faces in your life while they are still here to be seen. Because with everything this 95-year-old heart has left, I promise you, gently and firmly, later never comes.